Please start.
Ready? Om Asatu Ma Sadgamaya Tamasu Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrittur Ma Amritangamaya Aviravir Maidhi Rudro Jatte Dakshinam Mukham Te namang pahi nityam Te namang pahi nityam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. And evermore shine in our hearts with your resplendent face. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are back to our reading of the Shanti Gita. We read up to verse number 26 of 7th chapter. And what we read is that in this whole universe there is nothing but Brahman. Everything we see, it is like dream. And everything is the vivarta, apparent transformation without any real change. So we read the verses like this, that the kevalam brahma-mātrastu sat-cidānandam advayam. Only keval, only absolutely brahma-mātra, Brahman alone is there. And that is sat-cidānandam, that is of the nature of eternal consciousness, bliss and absolute reality. And it is absolutely non-dual, advayam. And then we read 26th verse, sat-cidānanda-śabdena. What do you mean by sat-cidānanda? These are words, mere words. Sat-cidānanda are the words. By that word, what we mean? nānā-jalāśayeṣu, not the words, but what is indicated by the word. You say word cow, cow is not enough. Cow is indicating certain animal of a certain characteristic. So similarly, sat-cidānanda is not words only, but it indicates that lakṣam, that there is some reality. And that is the point. And that is akṣaram, akṣaratitam. It is akṣar, it is not imperishable. And akṣaratitam, that there is no letter. You cannot any word, any letter cannot compose that reality. So akṣaratitam. It is sabdatitam. Even you utter some sound which is beyond sound. Niranjanam. It is of the nature of absolute purity, absolute stainless. Tat-svarūpaṃ. Now, what should be your duty? Tat-svarūpaṃ sayangatva. You know that is your own real nature. That svarūp, that is your essential nature, tat-svarūpaṃ. And you have to know by yourself, that means aparakshanubhuti, sayangatva. You can, you understand it will not do any good to me. This, you have to understand yourself. One have to eat himself to feel the taste. So that sarūpaṃ, what is the essential nature, and that is akṣaram, that is imperishable, that is akṣaratitam, beyond all sound, sabdatitam, beyond all expressions, stainless and pure. That is your own real nature. And you have to know by yourself, means by your own effort you to know, and you to know in your every understanding, every what you call aparaksha anubhuti. No paraksha. Paraksha is through the senses. I see this table. This is, it is paraksha. Paraksha. Apara is different. Aparaksha is identifying totally, you merge into that experience. Duality remains, that is Paroksha. Paroksha Gyan is seeing through the senses some instrument. When you see object, subject, and that. So this is to be understood as aparoksha. That means your own nature, and then you reach a state when people say that one is a realized soul, he is a Brahma-gyani, that identity also you discard that. Brahma-vittvaṃ parityaja. Even you are a jivan-mukta, you think that I am jivan-mukta, you have experience? No. When you are walking, talking, you are still in the duality. Little trace of ignorance is necessary to function. Jivan-mukta Purush does not mean that they are in samadhi. If they are in samadhi, they will not walk, talk, and have the transactional activity in the relative world. So you have to understand that identity, even if you see that I am Brahma-gyani, that idea should be discarded. That means that trace of idea that I am a knower of Brahman. If one raise the consciousness to such a flight, almost ego is going to dissolve. At that point he may say, I am a Brahma-gyani. No, that trace should also go. There will be nothing, no one will have to say that word, express. There is beyond all the expression of duality, and last trace, the least ego, which was hanging, making a separation, that will also go. So that we said that should be practiced. This spiritual practice should be to identify oneself that I am that Brahman first, and later on that identity that I am a knower of Brahman, even that identity is to be given up. We don't understand this very fine level, but intellectually we can grasp like this, that yes, the identity that even I am experiencing the absolute real nature of mind, that sense also will dissolve totally when ego is totally gone. Now, 27th verse says what we are reading today. Abhimana abritir mukhya, Abhimana abritir mukhya, tenaiva sarva-bhāveṣu, tenaiva sarva-bhāveṣu, panchakoṣeṣu ahaṅkārah, panchakoṣeṣu ahaṅkārah, kartṛ-bhāvena rājate, kartṛ-bhāvena rājate. Abhimano abritir mukha. Mukha means the prime, major. What is the main covering? Abriti is the covering. Main covering is ego identity, as I was talking about. Last identity is the ego identity. There are other identities. I am the body identity, is a gross level. As you move internally more and more, then all the time we talk about I am not the body, not the mind, etc., etc. So this identity is to be given up, given up, given up. Last is the ego identity. And that ego identity, why it is also to be discarded? Because that is a place of great enjoyment. That's why it is called Anandamaya Kosha. It is a kosha covering, but it is Anandamaya. Mayat means prachurja. Infinite expanse of joy there. Unparalleled joy. Because that is as if we are reaching the truth only through a separation of glass. You can catch but cannot catch. So that is the ego. And in that level when one can, that trace is gone, ego identity gone, then sarupasthiti. Then you remain in your own divine self. That much we know. Here he said, what is abhimana? Abhimana is the ego sense. That is the abriti. That covers us mainly. First I, then my body. So I is the first covering, closest to the Brahman, that which covers our real self. So abhimana abritir mukha, And by that, teno eva, by that only, svarūpa, our real nature, our divine nature, our blissful nature is avriti, is covered. First covering is the eye covering. Just imagine that is a infinite light, self-effulgent light, no? And it is covered, first covering is the covering of a very fine glass. And you can see almost the light is coming, but you cannot touch it. You cannot feel this. So this is a very high level, that's why it goes to the pre-nirvikalpa stage. That's a sabikalpa stage, they say. So abhimano avritir mukha teno ivo sarupa avriti. By that only the sarupa, my own divine self or the pure nature, has been covered. Pancha-koṣeṣu, by 5 koṣas, by 5 different layers of covering. Ahaṃkara, this is called the ahaṃkara koṣa. And there standing kartṛ-bhāvena rajate. You remain as I. Swami Vivekananda has that beautiful song. Nahi suryo, nahi jyoti, nahi shashanko sunnaro, asputo manuyakashe, jagato saṅsaro vase, ote bhashe dube puno, aham sruti nirantaro. There is a last trace is aham, and a stream of ego, I. Siddharao. That stream of thought, that stream of flow of that covering is baddha holo, stopped. Then what remains? This whole universe of appearance. Shunne shunno milailo. This whole universe, which was non-existing, it evaporated into non-existence. It's no. Shunne shunno. The void entered into void. That means that was not there, that disappeared. Which was appearing, that disappeared. Then it is what? It is shunno. Then it is a shunne shunno milailo. Then what remains? Hey, what we are reading. Evaṃ manasaryo charam. Evaṃ manasa gocharam. Avak, speech cannot describe that. Avak, manasa, mind cannot be there. That means mind, intellect, everything is gone. Bojhe pran, bojhe jar. What remains? It is not void. It can be experienced, only they can, who have gone to that state and lost their identity, when they come back, they can understand, oh, that is that. We cannot understand anything. And that is exactly what we are reading now. The aham, pancha-koṣeṣu, among the 5 koṣas, annamayo, pranamayo, manomayo, vijñāna-mayo, ānandamayo. These are the pancha-koṣas. Annamayo is the outer covering, like the jacket, heavy jacket. And layer after layer after layer. So we put 2 layers, 3 layers when it is cold, no? So we have put many jackets here. The body jacket, the energy level jacket, and then you go to the mind jacket, intellect jacket, ego jacket. And as you go internally, as we use, thinner and thinner layers we use, no? Outside is very thick, and then is little light, like that. So similarly, this Atman, this self, which is the eternal substance, you see, it is kartṛ-bhāvena rajate. There you say, I, it remains. And the sarūpa, our nature, is avrita, is covered by this abhimano. Abhimano means identification, I, ego sense. Ego sense is the first troublemaker. That created this. What is ignorance, you can say? That's why it is Ramakrishna said in many places that when the ego will die, then all the trouble will go. So this egoless state is that state. So it says that abhimano, ego identity, avritaha, it is covering, mukha mainly, and tena eva, by that only, sarva avritihi, nature of the self is avrita, covered. Panchakoṣeṣu, in the 5 sheets, ahankaraha, ego, kartṛ-bhāvena, attitude of doership comes, because I is there. That's why the idea of doership comes. I do, I want, I go, I think, I. The whole world, that's why Shankara has summed up. Ahamidam, mamaidam, iti naisargiko and loko vyavahara. This human transactional universe is going on. Aham, myself, I am here. Mamaidam is mine, me and mine. So that is the fundamental point from which the whole connection with the outward world came, forgetting our real nature. So the main covering upon the self is identification with ego. But that alone, one's own real nature is covered. By that alone, by that ignorance, but by ego, it is the self is covered. The ego rules over the 5 seats with the attitude of doership. Ego says, I understand, I. And my mind is not running here and there. So I is the dominating factor over all these other layers. Who is more powerful, who remains close to the boss. The first layer is the ego boss. Ego is a non-existing thing, but when it raises its hood, the first layer is ego, and that ego dominates everywhere in the world. So individual life, social life, family life, the country to country, their identification, my country, your country, I am Ukraine, you are Russia, I am America, you are India, I am China, you are this. So this is identification. The one man is thinking, I am in China, and I can do whatever I like. And what he says, China says. China does not say anything. And this identification, I, is such a damaging thing. It can be ever corrected that way. This way it is pulling us the outward. Now you turn this way, and then that you have to reach that point, then you will find inner joy, more and more and more and more. And when you reach there, tremendous presence of the absolute joy, overwhelming joy. And that's the breaking point of this ignorance. So that is the 27th verse. 28th verse. Now we are talking about ahankara. Now brahma-vittvaṃ ahankara, that's the main, greater bondage. Swamiji said that iron chain is a bondage, but gold chain is no less bondage. So people get stuck there also. The gods and goddesses, they are stuck in certain area in this different level. There is great joy, let me enjoy here and stay on. So here it says, brahma-vittvaṃ abhimanam jat, brahma-vittvaṃ abhimanam jat, bhavet vijñāna-saṃjñite, bhavet vijñāna-saṃjñite, ahankarasya tat-dharma, ahankarasya tat-dharma, pihite sarupe amale, pihite sarupe amale. So, pihite sarupe amale. Amal means which is stainless. In that amal, pure stainless self, that is, pihite means is concealed. That pure self, untarnished nature of the divine is concealed. Pihite. sarupe amale. Amala sarupe, amala means the stainless self, nature of the self is pihita. How? Ahaṅkārasya tat-dharma. Ahaṅkar and its nature. As you have a person of ego, ego will have its function, its nature. When he identifies with the Atman, that's a different. When he identifies with the body, that's a different. The ahaṅkārasya dharma means the nature. So the translation says, brahma-vittvaṃ. Suppose the again, person who have realized God, no? Or he is in a brahma-vitt stage and comes down, then they leave, if there is little trace of that abhiman identity, that I am a brahma-jnani, the ego identity that I am a knower of Brahman, yat, which is there, bhavet, will be vijñāna-saṃjñite. That will be having in the next cit, intellect cit. Brahma-vittvaṃ, in that ego level, it will not be, you cannot say much, but you can feel it, that ananda, but you are separate. But in vijñāna, one step down when you come, then you know, I am a brahma-jnani. No? So, ahaṅkārasya, the ego, and tat-dharma, ego and its nature, that conceals that self-nature. That means ego identity, which brings the concept that I am the knower of Brahman, happens in the intellectual seat. Knowledge is always in the intellectual seat, no? I know, I see, I hear, I eat. This is all in the knowledge, in the intellectual level. So this also, I am a brahma-jnani, if one says, that even to say that, there is the intellectual level, identity in the intellectual level. Of course, because they are all purified in all the levels, their identification is going to the brahma-jnana. And we, because our intellect is not pure, we identify with, I am the body, I am the master, I am this boss here, I am the rich person, weak person, all this knowledge are all related here. So this is the nature of ego. It is always the nature of ego that to conceal pure essential nature of the self. So first of all, that ego, close to the Atman, the last one, and when after experience they come down and they think, they feel it here, I am that, because ego is the last barrier, and so transparent there, that inner light, inner joy, inner peace is all available. Example, we always give this bulb. We can see the bulb, is the gross part. And you can see the light from a distance, no? But there is ananda, the glass. If you go to the glass, then you can touch it, then you feel the heat. Heat is here also. Ananda is here also, that heat. But it is not perceivable because it's too far away. And when it goes very close to that, then you feel the ananda more and more. And when you touch that, then you feel that there is, as if you have touched the truth, but there is a little separation, and that is the separation of the ego. And there is tremendous joy. But our ego is now paranchikhani batrinat sayambhu. God has created this everything this way outside. So no antaratman. So we are not habituated to look what is inside. And meditation makes us go inside. Vedantic analysis takes us what is inside. But otherwise we are always engrossed in the gross, outside. That means identification is coming to the object outside. But it has, then again layer comes, again layer, another layer, all the 5 layers come. So understanding even that I am a Brahma-jnani is with a high state. But that is a obstacle for that type of people. That's why when Raja Maharaj was asked that, Maharaj, Ramakrishna gave you everything. You have given every experience. Then why are you doing still in this type of austerities? Huh? He said, then we are making it our own, established in own. That means that experience, that I am a Brahma-jnani, is a separation. I want to establish myself in that level of experience, but there is nothing. That's why tremendous spiritual practice. They don't need it. They are Brahma-jnanis. That is the distinction between others. That's why they become world teachers. Their energy, their capacity is so strong because they don't just think I am a Brahma-jnani. They know I am that, breaking the last barrier of ego. They want to be established in that phase, that level of sarva-bhāveṣu jnana, no? That ego totally abolished there. So this is talking in a very, that's why here we are dealing with a very high level discussion. Brahma-gat abhimanam tajya. You have to give up the Brahma-jnana, and I am a Brahma-jnani, that identity you have to give up. It's not any level we can think about that. So it's very high flight. They are established, but they have to make them established. Otherwise, they cannot be world teacher. Brihman muktas are many, but this Ishvara Koti and what we say, they are only limited, because they have this better capacity to denounce all this identity that I am a Brahma-jnani or something, but they live, when they live with a full awareness, inner awareness. It depends on this. That's why Brahmavid, Brahmavidvara, Brahmavidvara, Varishta, all these categories they make. But I don't understand much, but intellectually we can say probably this is this, probably this is this. You are Aparaksha means yes, there is nothing to separate you as paraksha. It's all na-paraksha, aparaksha. Yeah, as I see you, it is, well, in a relative term, if I say I have seen you, I am seeing you. This is aparaksha. Similarly, I see that Atman like this. Ramakrishna said, I see God more tangibly than I see you. Said that, no samadhi. He said, with the eyes open, he says, I see God more tangibly than I see you. I am seeing you. That's enough for us. That's the for you say, somebody says, did you see Nishan there? I say, yes, I saw. But no, he didn't come. But no, I saw it. How many people will say no? No, I saw it. So Ramakrishna said, I see God more tangibly than you see this relative experience. That means it's a very high level, that absolute consciousness is all the time with them. Normally we hear this much, that Brahma-jnanis always remain in their inner awareness a little bit of it. But most of the time, in the transactional universe, they may not be so much tuned to that awareness. Sometimes their Holy Mother asks, Ma, do you remember your divine nature all the time? And Mother simply, those are the clue which she can understand these verses. Mother said, how can that be my child, then how can I work? That's why she kept that maya of motherhood, maya of the affectionate to the children who is suffering. With that, she kept her mind down. There are extraordinary examples. So here, even anyone can realize Brahma-jnana, but that aham layer may break for them for a moment and come back. But to be established in that level, that it will, otherwise it will be in the ego and intellect are very close, no? So in the I am a Brahma-jnani, that knowledge will remain when he is interacting with the people. But that ego should be totally gone. And Maharaj is sitting like this, talking. He is having some hubble-bubble and talking, and gone. You see that the hubble-bubble falls like this, and he is in samadhi. That ego level is so quickly they can transcend that. So the identity As I am a Brahmagyan, it does not remain. That's why they become totally egoless. Sri Ramakrishna says that be like a child, means child has no ego. The sense is egoless. So, we take it very simply. Oh, egoless, childlike. Oh, we see child, so many child. But in spiritual life, to be childlike is a very, very high state. You cannot, your ego identity will come. I know this much, I am a scholar, I will lecture, I will teach, I will do, I will change the world. All the young boys, 20, 21, who come over us, they have read all the philosophies, all the books, and I will change the world. I started writing a book. I am writing a book, I will change the world. And then these people who are established in Brahman, they say, oh my God, I am nobody, I am nobody, I am nothing, I am nothing. So much ignorance, so much I will change the world. And so much you become enriched in spirituality, then you say, oh my God, I am nothing. But they have the real power, but they don't ever identify with that power. They do not know even they have that power.
Is there such a thing as a jivan mukta who has not had samadhi? Jivan mukta in the world who has not...
I think jivan mukta, their definition is they are jivan mukta. How they will be mukta unless they have a touch of that experience?
They don't have to be established in it all the time.
The establishment is difficult. Establishment is very high. That's why after the samadhi, Ramakrishna's passing away, Maharaj is the great one example we learn about in the book. That, see, he used to 4 or 5 days in Omkareshwar, that place in the temple. He was staying and Subodhananda Swami was with him, Koka Maharaj. He is going to bring his begging food for Maharaj to eat, but Maharaj is in samadhi. Whole day gone, night gone, next day come. Sometimes he eats, sometimes he does not. So there, that is the intense sadhana. Even after that they are doing. We are saying they are doing sadhana. They are not doing sadhana. If you get the little touch of that joy, he will not be able to release anything in the world. We can release the fish, we can release the chutney, so long. this inner joy they get, they don't care for chutney. Look at that. The highly realized soul, they remain in their own self, no? Whether they have any body cloth, all the sadhus, those who are highly established in that. So they live in another. How they live it? Because the mind is absorbed in something, a joy, which this world cannot give. We know all this theoretically, but they reach a flight and then they feel attracted to be more withdrawn and withdrawn and withdrawn. Swamiji always used to wanted to be in samadhi. But when his mood is going to samadhi, something will happen. And Thakur will make a disturbance of that, and then he will have to give up everything and run for doing this chore, that chore, his work. That is, they are established all the time, and still to bring them down for the good of the world, they do. But this is a higher state to brahma-vittvaṃ. That knowledge that I am a brahma-vitt, that knowledge also should be abandoned. They are talking in that level. So the ego identity which brings the idea, I am the knower of Brahman, happens in the intellectual seat or seat of intellect. This is the nature of ego. Nature of the ego is what? To conceal pure, essential nature of the self. That is the nature. When the ego means it will conceal, cover. And that covers, whom it covers? The real divine self, effulgent self which is here. Otherwise, see how foolishly we are thinking, I am this body, anything happens in my mind, how I am soft. People say, oh, he has injured me, I am terribly disturbed, I cannot sleep all night. All this, how much identity in the body, how much identity in the mind level, and how much they are off from this. Those who are realized people, look at them. and how much beyond the identity of the body. But identification of the body will not go unless we identify with something else. Mind cannot be vacant. You cannot keep the mind vacant. Unless the mind, you fill the mind with good thoughts, it will be filled with negative thoughts. Unless you fill it day and night, and that's why Hari Maharaj used to say, you have become the body, saying, I am the body, I am the body. Now say, I am the Atman, I am the Atman. You will be Atman. No? So that intense, that I am a change of, what do you call the change of your vision, focus. Giving an example, what is this like happen? He says that ataha saṅtyajya tad-bhāvam ataha saṅtyajya tad-bhāvam kevalam sarupe sthitim kevalam sarupe sthitim tat-jnanam iti prahu tat-jnanam iti prahur yoginaha tat-darshinaha yoginaha tat-darshinaha. Therefore, ataha, therefore, what is our duty? Ataha, and of course, is talking to that state of higher state, but still we can take lessons from here. Ataha saṅtyajya, giving up, totally renouncing that tad-bhāvam, that attitude. What is that attitude? I am Brahma-jnani. Kevalam sarupe sthitim. Stay, keval means only, sthiti means establish yourself, sthiti. In sarupe, always establish yourself in your own self. And when you can establish that way, tat-jnanam iti prahu, then it is called tat-jnanam. Who says? Prahuhu yoginaha. Yogis who have practiced it years after years out, those who are established, they are saying, yoginaha, not only yogi, but tattva-darshina, tattva-darshina, those who have experienced that tattva, those who have experienced that tattva, say that tattva-darshina yoginaha prahu. These tattva-darshi yogis say that you saṅtyajya, giving up tad-bhāvam, that attitude of I am a knower of Brahman, don't contemplate on that. Even throw away that idea. And you focus kevalam sarupe sthiti, what Raja Maharaj, I gave the example. He was not concerned with anything else. He could have been satisfied. See, I give you an example. You know, Ram Babu and others were Ramakrishna's disciples. Ramchandra, Datta. And they saw this, all the young boys, Naren Rakhal, after Ramakrishna passing away, they are doing tremendous spiritual austere practices and meditation and samadhi. And they Ram Babu and others were not happy with that. They said that, see, what fools. They have seen Ramakrishna. These boys, immature boys, they have no sense. They have seen God, Ramakrishna, God. Then again they are trying to do meditation. Understand? It is not meditation. They are trying to establish this state, brahma-vittvaṃ, abhimanam taktva. They have got it. Yes, we have met Ramakrishna. Ramababu is not an ordinary guy. How much he understood about Ramakrishna, how many great association with Sri Ramakrishna. No? But he is this, what they are doing, all the direct disciples, particularly Naren Rakhal, Baburam, etc., so much deep, Hari Maharaj, Abhedananda, all are engaged in study, in deep singing, bhajan, whole night meditation, japa. There is nothing in their life 24 hours rotating. They thought that these boys have no faith. Because Rambabu was an elderly man, and he said these young boys have no faith in Thakur. Why these fools are doing this austerity? He has seen God and he has given everything, and still they are doing. So that is the point he had to understand. Two, attitude. Yes, you have reached, you have seen Ramakrishna, you have served Ramakrishna, you got the blessings, yes, you are free. But you are not a world teacher. And if you want to enjoy this way, then you will have to go beyond the tattva abhimana, that I am a tattva jnani, I am a knower of Brahman, I have known, I have understood. Not that will not do. A state will come, he will be perpetually established in that level. That's why they could, any devotee coming and when they are giving initiation, no, they can take away all their karmas. And Holy Mother is an extraordinary example. So Maharaj and others were of that category. And then, say one Mahapurush Maharaj, one gentleman was, I told once, he was a Dasu Babu. He was Dasarati, some surname I forgot. He used to work in our industrial school, and he was a teacher in carpentry. And he does not want to enter into the family life, marriage life, but it happened that he had to marry under condition. In those days, child marriage and all this. And then, because they have no child, so they want another marriage, so she has two marriages. And by that time he got Mahapurush Maharaj's grace. And one day, coming to Mahapurush Maharaj, he feels that, oh, what will happen to me? I have two wives and I live in the household life. I have no scope for liberation or something like that. But Mahapurush Maharaj said, what? Nothing will happen to you. You bring your wife here. I will destroy all other ideas from the mind itself. So nothing will be destroyed. And really, he was an ordinary humble person. One day I was walking with him to look after another department. So he was walking with me and he's saying, Swami, look at this. And I saw in Indian, in the Belur drain, no, on the B.Ed college side or college, that there is a raw drain, no? It's all dirt and dust and there are flies and there's some insects. And one fly is sitting and in some filthy thing. And he says, see, it is the same consciousness. I was surprised to hear. The same consciousness. That fly enjoying, there is ananda. Why the fly is enjoying that? There is ananda. And who is enjoying? That's ananda. He's talked about the highest Vedantic, just spontaneously, without any. And I was overwhelmed with his experience. That is the touch of the Mahapurushas they can get. But who knows who will study their life, who will talk to them. We do not know, they have many experiences, maybe such. And they can see with the eyes open, it is God's play going on. It is God is Ananda everywhere. We say Sat-Cidānanda everywhere. Ananda everywhere. Even the flies sitting on the field, that is Ananda, they are enjoying the Ananda. And he's looking at a different perspective, very high spiritual perspective. The Mahapurush Maharaj, by his grace, he attained that state. So this is the question that it is ataha, therefore, saṅtajya tad-bhavam, therefore giving up that idea that I am a brahma-jnani, kevalam sarupe sthitim, only stay in your own spiritual nature. If you can do that, then it is called stay. Stay means you are established in that level. Then that is called tathā-jnanam iti prahu. It is that state is called the tathā-jnana, said by whom? Yoginaha. These yogis, in the past who have practiced this thing, and not only yogi, tattvadarshina, they have experienced themselves, that type of yogi who are established, they say this is called the real tattva-jnana. So tattva-jnana means there will be no trace of ego even in their, after that experience, they will be such in level that ego will go. That's why it is said, vimuktascha vimuchyate. They say after giving up the old, suppose a knower of truth in this way, have say, what you call the jivan mukta, when their body drops up, then that knowledge will be dominantly coming up. There is nothing to identify. That's why vimuktascha, they are already vimukta, totally free, but become vimuchyate, totally freed from all entanglements of ignorance, because that is the last time the ego also drops and they merge into the absolute. 30th verse. Andhakara grihe shayi, andhakara grihe shayi, sharirang tulika-britam, sharirang tulika-britam, dehadi-kanchanastiti, dehadi-kanchanastiti, nischayena vibhavaya, nischayena vibhavaya. Andhakara grihe, suppose you have entered into a dark room. Sai, a person is lying down. Shariram, his body being tulika-britam, covered by a blanket or something like that. And from the outward experience as you enter, dehadi-kanchanasti iti. There is no body, no person. It is a blanket. It is a blanket. That is the blanket only, not the person inside. So that may be one idea. When a person covered with a cotton quilt is resting in a dark room, it appears as if nothing exists there, neither the body nor the quilt. Think thus with the certainty that your essential self alone is and nothing else exists. So you think, nischayena vibhavayo, you think this way about yourself, as it is, as someone thinks there is no one, only the quilt is there, so also you think that there is this ignorance because of darkness. But tattva-jnana will see it is the reality, is the only reality, and nothing else exists. So this is the vibhavaya with certainty that dehadikam, body etc., no asti. Body etc. is nothing there, only the consciousness is there. Think in this way. And there what will you see? 31st verse. Question is coming. Acha, 31st I just read out at least. Na pasyasi tada kinchit, na pasyasi tada kinchit, vibhati sakshi sat sayam, vibhati sakshi sat sayam, ahamasmi iti bhavena, ahamasmi iti bhavena, chantas sphurati kevalam, chantas sphurati kevalam. Napasyasi tada kinchit. When you don't see anything, that means not this material universe, not it is covered or it is uncovered, nothing you see, then there shines what? There only the witness or the consciousness will prevail. The thought, I am that witness, the reality of my own self, then will alone shine within. So when you do not see anything in the dark, as the example given, in a dark room you enter, some blanket is there and a person is there. So when you enter in the deep dark, you don't see anything. Neither you see the blanket, neither you see the person. Similarly, when you do not see anything in this world, after your experience, you come and see nothing. Neither ignorance, neither covered ignorance, like the man and the blanket. In the darkness you don't see anything. That example to make it understandable. Similarly, when you enter into this world as dark, there is nothing. This world is not dark to you. There is neither anything to be visible or experiencing. So, when you do not see anything, then what science? The witness, consciousness science. And the thought, even the thought that I am that witness, the reality of my own self, this type of thought, even thought will go, but it will shine only, it will shine in its own glory, that shining consciousness will be the only reality. All the ignorance is gone, naturally the inner light will be the only thing. All the clouds are gone in the sky, so we'll see the sun shining in its own glory. Okay, so I end here. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Panamastu. So tomorrow is whose class? My class. Okay, so tomorrow will be Gospel. Reading of Gospel. What's Kotari? Okay, so Shiril, when Tutapuri touched Sri Ramakrishna between the eyebrows so that he could go past the form of Kali, is that similar to going beyond the Anandamaya Kosha, from Noir of Kali to union with Brahman? Maybe you have got the right point, yes. So far so it appears to me also the same way, that that this form dissolves, you can think that way, that when he touched and then focused in the eyebrows, Totapuri said, then the form dissolves and melts into that which is beyond the Anandamaya Kosha. Yes, I also think so. It may be. Any question? No, that darkness example is something that you don't see anything.
So why add the example of the blanket and the person? Because they're not
That means blanket and person means when you see, normally you go, if I go in the room, I'll see that there is a blanket. But I may not see the person. In our condition, I see all the blankets. All people are true, but the consciousness I don't see. But so you now go into deep dark room, you don't see neither the blanket, neither person you don't see, even the blanket you don't see. That means a state of realization will come when you will see neither consciousness, neither there is any covering. That means if neither covering, neither consciousness means who will see that? That seer is collapsing. Yeah. কারণ শরীর সম্বন্ধে একটু সংক্ষেপে বলতে হবে কারণ causal body, what is the causal body? Yes, you are right, causal body means we have three bodies normally, gross body, subtle body and causal body. What is the gross body? As a causal body is the ego body, what we are talking about today. Ego body, the last covering. Subtle body is what? Minus the physical body. Prana, mana, buddhi, ahaṃkara. All will be there. That is called sukha, because you think what happens in your dream. your body remains in a subtle body remains, not this body, but there is subtle body. So body is not, this gross body does not stay, but your pranic body, you move there, energy is there, prana-mana is there, mind functions, your intellect is there, your ego is also there. Of course consciousness all the time there, we are not talking about that. So gross body, then add this physical body. So it is this physical body, annamaya. If it technically we say annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijñāna-maya, all are functioning now. This is the gross body. We draw from this physical body, annamaya body, you get up. In this dream now you think, this body is there, you are not here. As if you are lifted from this body into another body. So that, but what is there? Others may see that you have a body in the bed, but you don't see that that is your body. You see something is a subtle body, no? Say on pranamaya, manomaya, vijñāna-maya, and sukshma deho, that remains, of course, otherwise how will you move? So that is the subtle body which transmigrates. And causal body is that when all other drops excepting ego. That is the causal body. And that Thakur said, Sarat Maharaj said, bhava mukha, the threshold of the bhava, last state of merging into the Lord, that is this last stage. When we talked about the Totapuri's samadhi, etc. So, yes, these are the three in general, but we can think that also it can be understood this way. What is my causal body? Causal body is when you are in deep sleep. That is your causal body. You live in the causal body. What is your subtle body? Your dream body. Think about dream. What happens, what are there? That is your dream body. After death, we dream. We go to a dream world. And that dream world, this dream breaks in a short time. That dream continues for a longer time. According to karma, say it is, they go to hell. They will get punishment. They torture mentally. In a dream, don't you get tortured? In dream, don't you get joy? So similarly, you have done good job, go to heaven and have some fun there. In the mental world, physical body is not gone, it's burnt, not existing. So that is the subtle body. And subtle body, that's why we try to improve our subtle body by meditation, prayer. We are doing, by doing all these things, we are improving our subtle body. When the mind is getting purified, intellect is getting purified, no? Chitta means whenever you are purifying the mind, all three things are getting purified. As soon as you think of God, one mantra, drop. A little pure. And as soon as you pure, your mind is pure, your understanding is becoming pure. Your ego sense is, this ego identity with the world is reducing one drop. So one drop you put there and it have effect in all the areas. And memory, your memory is also changing. If you thought a negative thought, negative memory. And you think God thought, God memory. So it's very good. If you can put one drop, that drop is useful. And that works on the 4 levels. That's why one who is very much doing japa, prayer, meditation along with the niskama, karma and offering to God and all these things, their mind, not only mind gets pure, their intellect, understanding gets pure, their ego sense, they're humble people, they become transformed, and also ultimately its impact comes into the body. Their body becomes sattvika body. They cannot use the same way the earlier days how they used to use the body. They cannot, this body becomes, we have seen our bodies of our President Maharaj's Swami, Bireshwaranand Maharaj, he was very lean and thin. But, oh my God, you touch his feet, it was soft like a cotton. No? It's so soft, becomes sattvico. Body transforms. That's why people say, halo comes. That means it is all, transformation happens in every level, from inner level to outer level. And the personality changes. That's why spirituality, Swamiji says, being and becoming. It is change. Change should come. Merely becoming a monk, or a nun, or a devotee, nothing is meaningful. Meaningful is that whether it is changing inner transformation, and that inner transformation is manifesting through my expressed life function and activities. Another question, are the asana and breathing exercises of Hatha Yoga practiced in Vedanta? Yes, we are Vedanta, so we take everything. But only one thing is that we don't focus too much on breathing exercise or asana, but it is supposed that you should have a good body, otherwise you cannot meditate. Your back will be hurting, your leg will be hitting. So how do you meditate? You meditate on your pain. And a back pain or hand pain or leg pain, then you cannot do that. That's why we need a yogasana or any exercise which keeps your body fit, very important. That's why we follow Patanjali's philosophy, yama niyama asana pranayama. So pranayama is also good. We do little pranayama sometime, but we don't emphasize. Because Ramakrishna said, if you love God, then automatically your mind will be cool and you will be feeling even kumbhaka. That state will come. So we don't pay much attention, but as a subsidiary help, we take advantage of everything. Good health, so do exercise, have good food, balance sleep, balance resting, balance everything, make a very balanced life and become gradually very natural. And many people have concept that to be spiritual we should be little abnormal. Behavior abnormality is not a sign of spirituality. Rather to say that be natural, be normal, be rational. And at the same time, practice that spirituality which transforms the inner personality and the outer personality. Could you kindly have the verse number 27 through 31? Currently they are in the description section, no? So please see.
No, if you see from mobile, you cannot see the description section. So it is need to be put it in the chat section.
So why not put that in the chat section, every verse we read, so that they can see when I am reading that verse, that flashes, and they can read it, and then that will make it more sense to them. When we chant, it is very difficult to keep them in their brain. From the next time, whenever here, today is up to we read 27 to 31, but so all these verses should be in the chat section. Currently they are in the description section. So please do that next time, so that we can, whichever verse I start, that verse you put into the chat section. But people will not remember that. But it's good to send, but it will be much more beneficial if the verse is going on and it comes up. Acha. Another question has come. When the humans are achieving illumination, then the population should reduce, because ultimately each one getting merged to Parama Brahman. Then what is the reason new bodies too many? Then what is the reason new bodies too many? As you know, your question is very good. But you know, if you say God is infinite, His creation is infinite, no? So if you see, in the Pacific Ocean, just go and sit on the beach and see how many millions and billions and trillions of waves comes and zillions of waves come, dance, and then go. Then what happens to the creation? You see again millions, billions, trillions are coming. So there is no end of this, no? And it is in different aspect, but the same old soul is not coming back. Here is the spirituality tells us that I, as in which soul is now in this body, is suffering, getting angry, getting mad, getting happiness, all this. This soul, when it becomes purified and understands his real nature, not to come back again. But how many people, first of all, how many people in the world are getting illumination? It's nothing. 8 billion people. 8 people got merged into samadhi now. So it is really, we are not to be worried about that. And moreover, our Hindu philosophy is that creation, evolution and involution. Same thing repeated again and again, but not the same soul. As I said, look at the Pacific Ocean, the waves and ripples are many, millions, billions, trillions, zillions, no? But it is some is rising, some is falling, some is dying. But is there any end of creation? There is no end of creation. As God is infinite, creation is infinite. But individual, then you may say, what is going on? Why we are in suffering? It is for fun. It is for whose fun? Fun of the it is God's fun. He stays sometimes without any creation to himself, no? And sometimes he feels that, okay, let me be many. Suppose, that's my favorite example, I didn't give it for a long time. Suppose you are alone, you are happy with yourself. Now you want, what you want? You want to see yourself many. So you create a room full of billions of mirrors. Concave mirror, convex mirror of different aperture, different focus, and just stand there. What will happen? You will see so many you, but not distorted you. Your face is this, and you concave mirror, it will be one way, convex it will be like this. But this is the creation. But you break one mirror, then what will happen? Take out the mirror from there. What will happen? Trillions will remain, zillions will remain. So it is God wants for fun to see himself in many, sometimes goes to that room, Maya room. And entering into the Maya room, he creates himself so many. And playing sometimes there, then he gets tired. Okay, let me go back. That's why it is said all the seed is collected in the Noah's Ark principle. And God collected all types of seeds, no? That means all the seeds, whatever here, it goes into seed form. And then merges with the Lord, and again emerges from, like involution and evolution. What happens for us? Every day, suppose we are working now. When you go to bed, what happens? This whole universe of this, which is all multifarious experiences, everything, it is withdrawn as it were, and goes into deep darkness. You have no concept, no? And you get up in the morning, again, the same pew you will find tomorrow here. The same table you will find it tomorrow here. Because it is again, tathā pūrṇam, as it was before. So it remains like that. It goes on, involution and evolution, involution and evolution. That is the Hindu idea of creation. It's not one-time creation. That number, God has created 8, say, it was, say God has created first 4 Rishi Kumaras. He created only 4. And some other guys. And asked them to go multiply. But some said, no, 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 and some did. And then it increased. But it is in the wish they create, no? So the creation goes on this way, and evolution comes and involution comes. That is the way it continues. Okay, thank you. So we'll see you tomorrow again. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.